On the 555th day of the war in Ukraine, the fighting was concentrated in these areas. On the Zaporizhzhia front, fighting continues in the Robotine-Verbove sector. On the ground, Ukrainian sources confirmed the tactical advances in the areas between Novoprokopivka and Verbove. Today, Ukrainian soldiers prove that they have a solid control over these areas. In a video published by them, Ukrainian soldiers are seen walking on the areas shown on the map. A damaged Russian T-72B3 tank can be seen on this video, as well as the Dragon's Teeth line that is visible in the direction of Verbove. Soldiers of the 46th Airmobile Brigade confirmed that there are slight advances beyond the anti-tank ditch in the areas west of Verbove, and they informed that the Ukrainian forces are making efforts to advance east of Novoprokopivka, but according to them, the Russian forces are quickly strengthening their positions in this direction. On the other hand, it seems that the Ukrainian army is increasing its efforts to capture the town by launching new attacks over the trench lines north of Novoprokopivka. This is also confirmed by Russian sources who, although they have continued to insist that they have a presence south of Robotine, today they were surprised by reports that groups of Ukrainian soldiers landed from their Bradley armored vehicles in the vicinity of the forest lines between Robotine and Novoprokopivka, where Russian trenches are located. Online sources informed that from the beginning of the Ukrainian counteroffensive until the end of August, the Ukrainian forces have managed to liberate over 285 square kilometers on the Zaporizhzhia front. The largest part of the liberated territories is on the Vremivka front with over 182 square kilometers, as well as in the Robotine front with over 82 square kilometers. In the Kupiansk-Liman front, battles have intensified in the central part of the front in the Russian bridgehead across the Serebrianka river. As I reported in my previous video, in this direction the Russian command has sent a large number of reinforcements, and the Russian army will try to recapture their lost territories in this direction. According to the Ukrainian source Deep State, the Russian army has now engaged about a full tank battalion in this direction and has managed to build several pontoon bridges that facilitate the passage of the Russian armored units across the Serebrianka river. Heavy fighting is now taking place in the hills north of Novoiehorivka. Deep State, referring to the spokesman of the Eastern Group of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Ilya Yevlash, reported that out of 7 Russian tanks that were destroyed during the last 24 hours on the Kupiansk-Liman front, 6 of them were destroyed in this direction. This confirms the great concentration of the Russian armored units on this front. According to official Ukrainian sources, the Russian army carried out at least 8 assaults on the Ukrainian positions in this part of the front line. According to Deep State, the Ukrainian forces have had problems hitting the Russian pontoon bridges, and this has allowed the Russian forces to constantly bring new forces to the Synkivka area from where they attack the Ukrainian positions. In the northern part of the front, the situation is more stable. Ukrainian sources informed that the Ukrainian forces continued their counterattacks in the areas northeast of Synkivka, pushing back Russian troops in the areas between the forest belts. North of Synkivka, as well as in the areas northeast of Petropavlivka, positional battles continue. Russian tanks have been spotted operating from a safer distance inside the town of Vilchana, which indicates that the Russian forces have not yet managed to prepare the ground for a major attack on Synkivka. Ukrainian sources say that in the eastern part of the front line, Russian forces are constantly trying to penetrate into the grey areas east and southeast of Kislivka, but so far the Ukrainian forces continue to hold their ground. In the southern part of the front, inside the Serebrianka's forestry, Ukrainian sources reported that after the capture of the trench line in this direction, Russian forces managed to advance and increase their control over the surrounding areas. Friends, if you like my daily updates, I kindly ask you to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as this will greatly help the channel to reach a wider audience. That's all for today's update. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and have a great day.